So good morning, it's Patty Bogue. Happy Sunday. We're starting in child's pose and we're gonna do just a few sun salutes at the beginning and then move into some yummy long holds for yin. So hopefully you have a bolster and 2 blocks, and everybody just mute. So Joni, I think you're still, just in case you've got dogs or something like that. Yeah. Jillian, you're still not on mute. Yeah. There we go. And then just come into child's pose. So just feel your body start to relax, slow down. I don't know what you've done already this morning, but you may. Sometimes just getting to yoga is half the battle. So just take a couple of deep, soothing breaths. Just let the body start to relax. So I'm a middle-aged woman, and I love Facebook. And it's a great way to stay in touch with family and friends who aren't living near you. But it's easy to look at Facebook or any other social media and think that everyone's life is perfect. As a spectator, you might be thinking, is their life really that perfect, or are they only showing their best side and happiest moments? And of course they are. Not everyone wants to share their low moments publicly. It's private, it's personal, and it's often saved for only very close friends, and that's okay. But when you look at social media, remember there are 2 sides to that person. And I think this is an important note because when we are experiencing problems or disappointments or pain, we often feel isolated, just thinking that everyone else's life is perfect when it's not. So today's practice, we're going to really tune into the breath, tune into the body, and just accept our perfectly imperfect lives. So as you take a deep breath in, I want you to just pause at the end of the inhale and then let an exhale out and pause at the end of the exhale. Feel the shoulders start to relax. So there's no right or wrong way in these shapes that we're making on the mat today. So get yourself comfortable. If you need an extra blanket somewhere, or you want to put the block somewhere, go ahead and do it so that you can really let your body relax. So tune in to the breath and notice the pause at the end of the inhale and the pause at the end of the exhale. Two more breaths. And then just use your hands to slowly push yourself up and just move the bolster just out in front of you. We're going to come right into down dog. So place your hands, curl your toes under, come into down dog, and just start to pedal out your feet a little bit, waking up the ankles, the calves. You may have some aches and pains in your body today, and try to accept them instead of seeing them as something negative. Just accepting that that's where you are in this moment today. It's all okay. Keep focusing on the breath, paying special attention to the pauses at the end of the inhale and the exhale. And then when you're ready, walk your feet all the way up to the top of the mat. Good. Bend your knees, grab your elbows, and just hang here. Shake the head no, shake the head yes. Maybe give the shoulders a little roll. You can slowly start to straighten the legs and then bend them again. Just move nice and slow here, making any movements that feel good in the body. And then start to straighten the right leg. We're going to pull the right elbow forward and really tack your right hip back. Anchor the right ankle, or the right heel, sorry. And then release, and then switch sides to straighten the left leg. Right knee is bent. Pull the left elbow forward, and then tack the left hip back, root the left ankle. I said it again, sorry, heel. I guess the ankle's part of it. Good, and then release. Hands come to the shins. Inhale, look forward, lengthen the spine. Pull the belly button in, exhale and fold. And you can keep the knees bent here if the hamstrings are tight. Done a lot of walking this week. Hands come to the shins. Inhale, look forward, lengthen the spine. Pull the belly button in, exhale and fold. Good, last one. Hands to the shins. Look forward, lengthen the spine. And exhale and fold. And then bring the hands behind your head. Interlace your fingers, and we're going to start to tuck the tailbone under. Push down through your feet. So really use your legs to roll all the way up. Nice and slow. Use the leg muscles. Keep tucking the chin until the very last minute. Good. If that made you dizzy, keep your gaze down and then just release the hands. Good. Take a big inhale, sweep the arms wide and high. Exhale, hands come into the heart. Inhale, arms go wide and high. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Notice the pause. Exhale. Notice the pause. Last one. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Inhale. Sweep the arms wide and high. Exhale. Forward fold. Good. Inhale. Hands to the shins. Lengthen. Good. Exhale and bow. Push down through the feet. Let's rise up. You can do straight back or round up like we did before. Reach the arms high to the sky. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Big inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Notice the pause. Inhale, hands to the shins. Lengthen the spine forward. Exhale and fold. Push down through the feet, lift the chin, rise all the way up. Good, hands back in front of the heart. Take a big inhale. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, hands to shins, lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold. Push down through the feet, lift the chin, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Let's do a full sun salute. So inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, place the hands down on the mat, step the right leg back, then the left leg back. You can go knees, chest, chin here, or lower down, chaturanga. Sweep up, cobra, or up dog. And curl the toes under. Inhale, back up for plank. Exhale, down dog. 3 breaths here, noticing the pause at the end of the inhale and the exhale. Trying to accept any tightness or aches we feel in the body. Good. Bend the knees, walk forward, or you can hop up to the top of the mat. Good. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold. Push down through the feet, lift the chin, rise all the way up. Good. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands beside the feet, step the left foot back, then the right foot back, lower down, chaturanga dandasana, cobra or up dog, and back into down dog. Boy, my body's warmed up already. Hopefully you are too. Good, 2 more breaths here. And then slowly drop the knees to the floor. And let's just move through a few cat and cows. Really noticing your breath, noticing those pauses at the beginning of the inhale and the pauses at the end of the exhale. So inhale, lift the chin, lift the sit bones. And then exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone and round. Push the hands into the floor. Good. Flow with your breath. Notice the pause and then exhale. Notice the pause 2 more times. You can move the body in barrel rolls if that feels good, or just stay with cat and cows. Good, and then bring the spine back to neutral. Let's inhale the right hand up to the sky. Good. Just twist here for a moment. Notice the shoulders. And then take your right hand, weave it between the left wrist and the left knee. Let your shoulder touch the floor, your head touches the floor. And then I take my left hand out in front, kind of bring it to spider fingers and use it for balance. So you can really tuck and let the body roll forward slightly. That's where you're gonna feel it. I'm always amazed with people who don't love thread the needle because it's such a great shoulder opener, but you've got to let the body, it's almost like you're going to do a somersault. You roll forward, and then I like to just kind of wiggle my hips side to side, see if you can feel it a little deeper there. Notice if you're holding your breath, keep breathing, watching the pauses. Good, and then just slide your left hand back in front of your face, push down, unweave the right hand, sweep it all the way up, twist, 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 and then back into tabletop. Let's do a cat and cow in between. Inhale, lift up, pause, exhale, and round. Good, pause, and then back into neutral. Root the right hand down, inhale the left arm up, twist, 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 and then weave the hand all the way through. Tuck the chin, take that right hand just in front of your head, up onto spider fingers, and then just roll forward slightly. It's really only about an inch forward you have to roll, and you should really feel this up in the shoulder and the neck. To go a little deeper, maybe wag your tail a little bit. the more to the left you're going to feel it. Face is soft, eyes are closed. Good, and then slide the right hand back in front of your face, push down and then unweave that left arm up, coming back into a twist, 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 and then hand comes back down on the floor. Curl your toes under here. And I like to really root my big toe and then spread all of the other toes out. Root the big toe, spread all of the other toes out. We're just gonna lean back a little bit so that you're really opening up the toe joints, and then come forward. This time we're going to flip the right fingers towards your knee. So we're going to open up the wrist as we open up the toes. So lean back. And you feel that stretch through the wrist, maybe kind of lean side to side, getting into the toes, getting into the wrist. Good, and then slowly come back, flip the hand forward, and then switch, flipping the left fingers towards the knee, lean back, and then just kind of slide side to side, just sway your body side to side, getting into the toes, getting into that wrist. This is a good one if you've been on the computer for a while, just to open up the wrists. Good, and then slowly come back up. And then we're gonna move into our yin poses. So grab your bolster. The first one we're doing is omega pose. So swing your legs around to the front. And it's like Baddha Konasana. Baddha Konasana, the feet are together and you're up close. But this time you slide your legs forward. Have your blocks handy too, because they're nice to rest your head on them. And then just bring the bolster right in between your legs. I like to stack the blocks up here. And then all it is a forward fold. And we'll hold this. I'll see how we're doing, but sorry, I'm gonna have my timer here just so I keep an eye on things. And then as we get into the pose, maybe a minute into the pose, I'll cue you and you can get rid of a block or two. So really the key for yin poses is letting the body feel heavy. And if anything doesn't feel quite right, like maybe your ankles are being pressed on too much, you can slide the feet out from under the bolster. So you play around with the pose. There's no right or wrong here. You want to just be able to let the body relax. And then I'm just cueing you back in to your breath. Right? Take a big inhale. Notice the pause at the top. And then a nice long smooth exhale. Noticing the pause at the bottom. So the hardest part of yin to me is keeping still, right? I want to wiggle. And, you know, a little bit of wiggling is okay, but just notice whether your mind really wants to wiggle or is it your body is uncomfortable and then you need that wiggle. See if you can resist the wiggle for a moment, and then if you need to, go ahead. But just start noticing what the dialogue is in your mind. And then bring the mind's eye back to the breath. It's a great way to keep the mind anchored. It's really meditation, just following the breath. If you find just the pauses don't help keep your mind from wandering, count your inhales. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Feel your shoulders start to relax. Feel the face start to soften. Our bodies too are perfectly imperfect, right? And you may have a few aches and pains going on. Acknowledge them. If it's a sharp shooting pain, I'd prefer you to come out of the pose and find something else that feels good. Find another shape that feels good in your body. If it's just a dull ache, try to sit with it. Okay, I'm going to have you go a little bit deeper. So maybe remove a block or two. So we've been holding this 3 minutes already. Just surrender into the pose. Good, last inhale. Notice the pause at the top, and then exhale. Notice the pause at the bottom. And then let's slowly come up. Just move the bolster forward slightly. We're going to plant our feet down. Take your hands and slide them behind you. Fingertips are pointing towards your buttocks. We're just going to push down and lift up into reverse table. Tuck the chin and then let the head fall back. Good. And push down through the feet, push down through the hands. It should feel good on your shoulders. And then we're going to slide the bottom forward towards your heels. Take your gaze towards your belly and then just bend the elbows, squeeze them together on the back. So again, really getting into the shoulders a little bit here. This isn't a yin pose. I'm just kind of adding it in for a little shoulder action. Maybe sway side to side a little bit. See if that gets into the shoulders. Good. And then slowly we're going to straighten your left leg and bring the right leg into your right heel comes into the right inner groin. Grab your bolster again, and we're just going to fold forward. So big inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold forward. Using the blocks, you really want the head supported in yin if you can. And if you're not, if this feels too easy, if there isn't, there should be a slight uncomfortableness. So if this feels too easy, get rid of the bolster and just come all the way down to the floor. Just notice, scan the body, notice where you're holding tension. Is it in the jaw? Is it in the shoulders? So I've broken this pose into two poses. So slowly come up. Just keep your eyes closed if you've got them closed, and then you can slide the bolster on top of your left leg or have the blocks just out in front. And then take your left elbow to the bolster or block, support your head, sweep the right arm out to the side and then up and over. And you can either hold onto your head or reach the arm over, and then really anchor the right sit bone down into the earth. So your toes are relaxed, face is soft. Bring your mind's eye back to the breath. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Last breath. And then take the right hand up to the sky, out to the side, and use it to pull you all the way up. And then let's just really slowly and mindfully switch sides. So right leg goes straight, left heel comes into the left inner groin, and we're going to go forward first. So if you have your bolster, put it out in front, or if you just want the blocks, go ahead with the blocks, and then just come right into your forward fold here. Legs are relaxed, toes are soft. And just keep coming back to the body. Keep focusing on where you feel something in the body. Every time we move, just start to notice. No right or wrong. Just notice how perfectly imperfect our bodies are made. And then keeping your eyes closed, slowly push yourself up and just slide the bolster or the blocks over in front of your right leg, or if you've got the bolster on top of the leg. Bend your right elbow, rest the head on the block, sweep the left arm out to the side and then up and over, either stretching the arm long or just grabbing your head. And then really root your left sit bone down into the floor. Keep stretching out long through the top elbow, and then just soften into the pose. Keep scanning your body and notice what your habitual tendencies are. I was raised in Anusara yoga, so we were always taught to keep our toes flexed and spread. So I have to really work hard to let my feet relax. So notice what your habit is. And just keep coming back to it, softening, letting go. The last breath. And then reach the left arm up to the sky, out to the side. Use it to pull you all the way back up. And then let's just come into tabletop. Good. And then step your left leg forward. And then slide the bolster just down in front so you can bring your elbows to it. We're going to kind of slide your back leg back, coming into lizard pose. So if the bolster is too much, you can use the blocks or come all the way down on the floor. Spine is nice and long, and then just surrender into the pose. If you notice your mind wandering, bring it back to the breath. Focusing on the inhale and the pause at the top, the exhale, the pause at the bottom. Slowly push your hands down into the mat, and then let's just slide back into tabletop. And we're going to switch, bring the right leg forward, coming into lizard, either having the bolster, resting your elbows on the bolster, the blocks, or bring it all the way down to the floor. Just try to keep your eyes closed, your face soft. Keep tuning into any sensations you're feeling in the body. Keeping your mind anchored on the breath. Just notice where your mind goes, right? If you're, where is your mind distracted? Are you thinking about something that you have to do when yoga is over? Are you stewing about something that you said to somebody? Right? Acknowledge it and then just shut it down, right? Move it off to the side and bring your attention back to the breath. Notice when you get into the poses how like one side is typically a little bit tighter. And so when you're doing that tighter side, your mind starts saying, I want to come out, I want to come out. But your body typically can stay in the pose a lot longer than what our mind thinks it can. So acknowledge the mind saying, I want to come out. Just say, I'm just going to sit a little bit longer. Bring your attention back to the breath as a distraction for any bit of uncomfortableness you're feeling in the body. But again, no sharp shooting pain. If there's any sharp shooting pain, come out. But if it's just that dull ache of slightly being uncomfortable, just sit with it. Just like in our lives when we have moments of being uncomfortable, rather than running in the opposite direction, just sit with it. Notice. And often it will pass. The last breath here. And then push the arms, hands down into the mat, slide back into tabletop. And then let's come all the way up into down dog just for a moment to stretch out. And let's lift the right leg high. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Flex your foot and kind of push the heel of the foot away. Good. Straighten the leg, level out the hips, sweep up forward for pigeon. So right knee to right wrist. And then you can either bring the bolster out in front and just let your head rest here. Another version is to bring the bolster underneath your booty so that your front right shin lines up with the bolster. This to me is a little bit deeper. If you haven't tried this one before, try this one. They do this often with people with knee issues, but to me, it takes you deeper into the pose. And then just forward fold. Stack up the blocks as high as you need to have your head supported. And then surrender into the pose. See if you can maybe lower down a little bit deeper, get rid of a block, or bring the block onto a lower level. Notice where you're gripping in the body. Send the breath to that area to soften and release it. We often think that going slow is easier, but many times it's harder. So acknowledge that and bring your attention back to the breath to kind of settle the mind. Settle that chatter of, I don't like yin, or I don't want to be holding this pose. Why is Patty making us hold it? Right? Just bring your attention back to the breath. Feel the shoulders start to relax a little more deeply. Let the hips feel heavy. Good last breath here. And then slowly start to come out. If you're up on the bolster, just slide the bolster off to the side. We're going to bring our back leg all the way around. Place the left foot over top of the right knee. And then just push your fingers down into the mat and just slide your hips over to the right a little bit. Hands come to the knees, grow tall, and just sit. Good. On the next inhale, reach your right arm up high and then slowly come into twist. Either just give your knee a hug or hook your elbow on your knee. Left hand comes around behind, pull the belly button in, grow tall, and twist. Good, and then slowly come back forward. We're going to lean back slightly, slide your bottom foot forward a little bit, and then we're coming right into fire log. So your shins are stacked. I like to take a block and put it underneath my top knee. And then just sit tall again and then surrender into the pose. These are hard poses, right? Our bodies tend to get tight in the hips. We hold a lot of emotional distress in our hips. So just sit and breathe. If you need to come out, but see if you can stay 2 breaths longer than you think you can. Notice if you're gripping anywhere, try to soften, let the feet relax, let the legs get heavy, let the hips get heavy. One more breath. Good, and then let's just swing the legs around behind, coming back into down dog. Just make any movements that feel good before we switch sides. And then left leg lifts high. Good, bend the knee, open up the hip. Straighten the leg, bring the left knee up to the left wrist for pigeon pose. And again, if you did the one side with the bolster underneath the hip, you can go back into that. If you did full pigeon with the bolster straight out ahead, go ahead and move into that. And bring your attention back to the breath. Watching the pauses at the top of the inhale, the pause at the bottom of the exhale. So even though on Facebook we might not see the wounds, the disappointments, the setbacks, right? They are there. I don't know if you follow the poet Rumi, but he talks about this as being the open secret, because we all hide things, right? We always want to put our best face out in front of people. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you acknowledge that there is a side that's hidden. Right? Rumi says, like a shadow, I am and I am not. We're a mixture of both and not. We are all perfectly imperfect, just the way we were meant to be. Feel your shoulders relax. Notice if your teeth are clenched together, unclench them. Behind the closed eyes, can you soften your eyes? Two more breaths here. And then slowly walk your hands back up. If you have the bolster underneath, just move it off to the side and then bring your right leg all the way around. Place it over top of the knee. Hands come on top of the right knee and then just grow tall and sit. Notice if there's any gripping in the legs. Really let the legs get heavy. Let them go. Sit tall, but then soften. Inhale the left arm high. Good. Exhale, either just hug your right knee or hook the left elbow on the right knee. Right hand comes around behind. Pull the belly button in, grow tall, and then twist. Good. And then slowly come back to face the front. We're going to lean back a little bit. Just slide your bottom foot forward, coming right into fire log. So our shins are stacked. It might help you to put a block underneath the right thigh or right knee, and then grow tall and just sit. So this is a fairly advanced pose. So it's good practice when we are in situations that make us uncomfortable, maybe a difficult conversation with somebody, or you're sitting in a meeting that you don't want to be in, right? We can feel our body and mind resisting. So try to just sit with it and soften. Just a few deep breaths can help calm your nervous system, relax the body. So these things we practice on the mat, we can take off the mat into our lives. Even just the observation of resisting, right? How I can feel my hips resisting the opening, right? How we resist conversations or dealing with people maybe that don't think the same way as us. Try to soften into it and really listen. Instead of reacting, see if you can sit calmly and then respond. Takes practice. your mind feels agitated, watch the pauses at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. Two more breaths here. And then just lean back. We're just going to stretch the legs forward, just kind of give them a little wiggle, shake out. Good. And then just move your bolster off to the side for a minute. We're going to lay onto our back and come into candy cane. So fingers interlace behind the head. We're going to start by just kind of scooting the shoulders, kind of making a candy cane shape with the body. So our both shoulders and elbows are on the floor if possible. And then we're going to walk. So we moved our shoulders over to the right, our elbows over to the right to make the candy cane shape. Now we're going to walk our feet over to the right as far as you can, and then pick the left foot up and place it on top of the right. But try to keep both hips, especially that left hip. Let the left hip get heavy. You should feel that nice stretch through the psoas. It goes right through the hip, connecting the upper body with the lower body. So just feel that psoas start to stretch and release. If you're not feeling it, lower the left hip a little bit. So both hips, both shoulders are flat on the ground. Maybe you need to come out and just walk your feet over to the right a little bit more. But just focus on that left hip getting heavy. Good last breath. And then unhook your feet and slide the body back to center and just grab your left knee, hug it in. Good, stretch it up to the sky, interlace your hands behind your left thigh and just point and flex your foot, scrunch up your toes, maybe roll the ankle 2 or 3 times, one direction, 2 or 3 times the other direction. And then bring your left toes down to your right knee, coming into a twist. So if you can turn your head to look towards the left arm. So we're twisting to the right. And so if it feels okay, you can extend your top leg out a little bit. And then we're going to bend the bottom leg. And then lift your head, shoulders up. See if you can grab your foot and then relax back down. So both shoulders should be pretty much on the ground. The left one might be up slightly. This is called cat pulls tail. So it's a twist and it's a quad stretch. So the more you bring that bottom leg, the heel in towards your buttocks, you'll feel a nice quad stretch. And then just surrender into the pose. Last breath. And then release the bottom leg. Come all the way back to center. Let's hug both knees into the chest. Oh. That felt yummy. And then stretch the legs long, interlace your hands behind your head. Let's go into candy cane on the left side. So start to wiggle your shoulders over to the left, making that candy cane shape, and then walk your feet over to the left as far as you can without lifting both hips up off the ground, and then pick your right foot up, place it on top of the left leg. So we're crossing the legs. I kind of hook my toes to help keep them stable, and then let that right hip get heavy. Feel a nice stretch through the psoas. So both shoulders are anchored, both hips are anchored. And just let that right hip get heavy. So knowing that there are two sides, right, of every person we meet, two sides of ourselves, be gentle, right? Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with others. Knowing that what you might see presented to you isn't necessarily what's going on behind the scenes. And it's true for all of us, right? It's what Rumi calls that open secret. And we let that right hip get heavy. Last breath. And then release the feet. And come back to center. And then hug the right knee in towards your chest. And then stretch it up to the sky and just point and flex. Roll the ankle. And then bring the right toe down to the left knee. Come into a twist to the left. Stretch your right arm out long, turn to look at your right arm. And then maybe you can start to straighten the leg a little bit. And then bend the bottom leg. Lift your head and shoulders up to grab the foot. Coming into cat pulse tail. I haven't looked at the clock, but I'm guessing it's probably close to 10 o'clock already. So I might go over a little bit. So if you need to leave, no worries. Have a great day. I'll see you in 2 weeks. But if you can hang around, I've got a yummy closing pose after this that is a great one if you're feeling stressed out. Last breath. And release the foot. Roll onto your back, hug both knees into the chest. Maybe flip the feet up for a happy baby. Maybe stretch one leg along and the other. And then our final resting pose is it's a reclined Supta Baddha Konasana. So it's kind of like the Omega pose that we did at the beginning, but it's if you're having a stressful day, this is a great way to kind of just regroup. So if you set your blocks up kind of like this, so the one block is on high, the one is on its side, and then you lay the bolster right on top of it. And if you haven't got the blocks, you can stack anyway, just to kind of bring the bolster on an angle or your cushion on an angle, and then you're sitting on the floor, and then just start to lean back. And then arms rest out at the side, palms are facing up. The feet are together, so you can decide if this is uncomfortable on your back and you want to have the legs bent or the legs straight. You know, find wherever you can really let go in this pose. So we're just going to hold it for about 2 or 3 minutes, so not too long. It's really a yummy grounding pose. So close your eyes. Let your face get soft. Acknowledging that we were all perfectly imperfect. Like the shadow, I am and I am not. Feel the body get heavier and heavier. That space between your eyebrows, let it soften. Just let the eyeballs relax back into the eye socket. Just feel all the muscles of the face relax. Just surrender. And then gently begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And just slowly roll off to the side and just push the bolster and the blocks off to the side. Just notice how you feel now compared to when we first started. Reminding yourself that you can move into these shapes anytime you're feeling ungrounded. And just simply taking a deep breath, watching the pause at the top, the pause at the bottom. Just help ground you to deal with whatever it is that you are dealing with. Using your hands, slowly push yourself all the way up into a sitting position. Just keep your eyes closed, your focus turned inward. And then bring your hands in front of your heart and bow your head. Good. Thank you for joining me for this last hour and a little bit. Appreciate your presence and your energy. Just as you leave and go off into your busy lives, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with those that you interact with, knowing that there are two sides of all coins. We are perfectly imperfect. Namaste. Good. Thank you, guys. So yin isn't easy. Yeah, and I know when I first started doing it, my mind, it was very difficult up here for me to do this. So thank you guys